I stood at the altar as my brother's best man, watching him marry the woman who was supposed to be my wife. Sarah looked beautiful in her white dress. 8 months ago, she wore my engagement ring. Now she held Marcus's hand, reciting vows that should have been ours. My parents sat in the front row, smiling as if nothing was wrong. They told me to be happy for them. They said, family comes first. But which family? The one that just destroyed mine. Before we dive into this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If you believe in karma and justice, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay with me until the end, because what happened next changed everything I believed about justice and family. Growing up in a small suburb outside Columbus, Ohio, I always knew my place in the family. Marcus was the golden child. 3 years older, 6 inches taller, and apparently 1,000 times more valuable in our parents' eyes. He had the charm, the looks, the confidence that made everyone gravitate toward him. Teachers loved him, girls chased him, and our parents, Richard and Linda, treated him like he could do no wrong. I remember sitting at the dinner table when I was 12, showing my dad a report card with straight A's. He glanced at it, nodded, and then spent the next 20 minutes talking about how Marcus had scored the winning touchdown at his football game. That was my childhood in a nutshell. I could achieve anything, and it would still be a footnote compared to whatever Marcus did. But here is the thing. Despite all of that, I loved my brother. I genuinely did. We shared a room until I was 10. We built forts in the backyard. We stayed up late watching horror movies when our parents thought we were asleep. And one night, when I was scared during a thunderstorm, Marcus sat on the edge of my bed and promised he would always protect me. I believed him. For over 20 years, I believed him. I learned to carve out my own path. While Marcus pursued real estate and quick money, I went into software engineering. I was not flashy, but I was stable. I built a good career, saved money, and created a life I was proud of. And then 4 years ago, I met Sarah. It happened at a tech conference in Chicago. I was presenting a new software solution, nervous as hell, stumbling over my words. After the presentation, a woman with warm brown eyes approached me. She said my presentation was the most genuine one she had seen all day. Her name was Sarah. She worked in marketing for a partner company. We exchanged business cards, and I figured that was the end of it. But she called me 3 days later. Asked if I wanted to grab coffee. That coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a road trip to Colorado that summer. I remember driving through the mountains, Sarah in the passenger seat, with her feet on the dashboard, singing along to songs on the radio. We camped under the stars in Rocky Mountain National Park, and she taught me how to make decent scrambled eggs over a campfire. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was someone's first choice. 3 years of building something real. 3 years of learning each other's quirks, fears, dreams. Sarah knew I hated being compared to Marcus. She knew I sometimes felt invisible in my own family, and she made me feel seen. So, when I decided to propose, I knew exactly where to do it. The Italian restaurant in downtown Columbus, where we had our first official date. I got down on one knee between the appetizers and the main course. She said yes before I even finished asking the question. We planned the wedding for 8 months later. Everything felt perfect. And then Marcus came back. His marriage had fallen apart. His wife caught him with another woman and filed for divorce faster than he could make excuses. Suddenly, my 35-year-old brother was moving back to Ohio, licking his wounds and inserting himself into every family gathering. My parents welcomed him with open arms, of course. Poor Marcus. He was going through such a hard time. I introduced Sarah to him at a Sunday dinner at my parents' house. I thought nothing of it. He was my brother. She was going to be my wife. They needed to know each other. Marcus turned on the charm immediately, complimenting her dress, asking about her job, laughing at everything she said. I noticed it, but I told myself I was being paranoid. This was Marcus. He flirted with everyone. It did not mean anything. But then the visits started. Marcus would stop by our apartment during the day while I was at work. He said he was helping Sarah with wedding planning, picking out flowers, tasting cakes, things that apparently required my brother's expertise. Sarah mentioned these visits casually like they were nothing, and when I raised an eyebrow, she accused me of being jealous of my own brother. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I was projecting my childhood insecurities onto an innocent situation. I wanted to believe the best in both of them, so I pushed down my doubts and focused on the wedding. Biggest mistake of my life. The changes in Sarah were subtle at first. She started keeping her phone face down. She would step out of the room to take calls. When I asked who she was texting, she would say it was just work stuff. We had been together for 3 years. I knew what work stress looked like on her. This was different. This was secretive. Marcus kept showing up. At our apartment. At my parents' house, when Sarah happened to be there. Always with a convenient excuse. He was in the neighborhood. He needed to borrow something. He wanted to discuss the bachelor party. Every time I mentioned my concerns to my parents, they shut me down. My mother said Marcus was just being a supportive brother-in-law. My father told me to stop being so insecure. I felt like I was losing my mind. The people who were supposed to know me best were telling me that what I was seeing was not real. Sarah started using words like paranoid and controlling. She said I was suffocating her with my suspicions. I apologized. I backed off. I let Marcus keep coming around because everyone told me I was the problem. One evening I found a text on Sarah's phone while she was in the shower. It was from Marcus. The message said he could not stop thinking about their conversation from earlier. That was it. Nothing explicit. But the way he phrased it made my stomach turn. When I confronted Sarah, she had an explanation ready. They had been discussing a surprise gift for me. The secretive conversations were about planning something special. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. 2 months before the wedding, I came home early from work. A stomach bug had been going around the office and I caught it hard. I left at noon, drove home, and walked into the apartment I shared with the woman I loved. The woman I was going to marry in 60 days. I found them in our bedroom. There are moments in life that split everything into before and after. This was mine. I stood in the doorway, physically unable to move, watching my brother and my fiancé scramble to cover themselves. The bed I slept in every night. The sheets I had washed that weekend. My brain could not process what my eyes were seeing. Marcus spoke first. He did not apologize. He did not even look ashamed. He just shrugged and said she chose him. He told me I should accept it and move on. Like he had just taken the last slice of pizza instead of destroying my entire world. Sarah was crying, but not the way someone cries when they are sorry. She cried like someone who got caught. She said she did not mean for me to find out this way. Not that she did not mean to do it. Just that she did not mean for me to know. I told them both to get out. My voice did not even sound like mine. It was calm, flat dead. Marcus grabbed his clothes and left without another word. Sarah tried to talk, tried to explain, but I could not hear her anymore. Everything sounded like it was underwater. She eventually left too, and I stood alone in that apartment for hours. Just standing there. Staring at the bed. Trying to understand how my life had collapsed in the span of 5 minutes. I called my parents that night. I needed them. I needed someone to tell me this was not my fault, that Marcus was wrong, that they were on my side. My father answered. I told him everything, barely holding it together, expecting outrage on my behalf. Instead, he sighed. He said maybe Sarah and I were not right for each other anyway. Maybe this was for the best. When I asked him how he could say that, he told me Marcus had explained the situation. According to my brother, I had been neglecting Sarah, working too much, not giving her enough attention. Marcus was just there for her when I was not. She said I should be grateful this happened before the wedding instead of after. And then she asked me to be the bigger person. She wanted me to support Marcus and Sarah, to attend their wedding when they eventually had one. I hung up the phone and did not speak to any of them for 3 weeks, but they did not give up. My mother called repeatedly. She showed up at my apartment. She cried about how the family was falling apart and how I was tearing everyone apart with my stubbornness. My father sent emails about forgiveness and moving forward, and Marcus incredibly acted like nothing had happened. He texted me about football games. He invited me to a barbecue, like we were still brothers, like he had not just gutted my entire existence. The pressure was relentless.